Oh yeah, was that like during the?
It was like a week before.
Yeah.
Saturday.
And welcome back live for the Wallace Hanceville Lions versus Northwest Shoals Patriots. The conclusion to last night's game that got rained out and is able to resume this morning bright and early on a beautiful Friday morning here at Veterans Park in Alabaster, Alabama. As we will resume in the bottom of the fifth inning with 2 outs, runner on second. And a pitching change coming up here for the Patriots, as they will have the starter Taylor Cameron, number 32, back on the circle. And we will have number 7, Laura Lee Wheeler, on second to start. This morning, we will resume right now as the first pitch will miss upstairs, as it will be number 22, Bailey Rouse, who is 0 for 3 in the game so far with 2 flyouts and a strikeout. Almost had a 3-run home run to right field that was robbed by the right fielder Carly Wallace. Both teams in different uniforms than what we left off last night. That one will miss outside. As we'll take a look at the Patriots out in the field. Maddie Griffin will be behind the plate, number 12. Brooklyn Owens at first. Serenity Sisk will be at second. Bethany Mink at shortstop. Aspen Teague will be at third base with Taylor Cameron back on the circle, after Emma Claire Wilson was the last pitcher used last night. And that one's going to hit Bailey Rouse, and she'll take first after being hit by the pitch. as he'll be first and second here with 2 outs. And so far in this inning, the Lions have batted through their entire batting order with a bunch of base hits. Hits are 4-3 in favor of the Lions at the moment. But the bases clear double from Norley Wheeler put the game out of reach for the moment for the Patriots. So that will be in for a ball. It'll bring us up number 10, Haley Holyhand. This is the only field active right now since we had to resume the game from last night. I believe we have 3 games on schedule today on field number 2, including the game that was supposed to be the nightcapper between Bevel State and Bishop State. So we'll have that game coming up for you around 11 o'clock, depending on the final out and time here in the makeup game between Hanceville and Northwest Shoals. This is a winner's bracket game. Both teams undefeated so far. First game for Wallace Hanceville. That one's going to be upstairs in Northwest Shoals after defeating Shelton State yesterday by a final score 11-9 in extra innings. They had a 2-0 lead to start, scoring both of their runs in the 4th inning. And that's when the Lions offense started to get things going. Already a 5-run bottom of the 5th inning after scoring 1 run in the 4th inning. They've had the bases loaded multiple times in this game, I believe 4 times last night, before we finally had the game called in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs. Hard rain last night had to delay the remainder of the games that were scheduled. That's upstairs, and it'll be a walk. And the bases are going to be loaded here for Wallace Hanceville. For the 5th time in this game, I believe. As that'll bring down number 25, Jesse Taylor, who laid down a sacrifice bunt earlier in this inning. Still looking for her first base hit, ground out to the pitcher with the base loaded and has been hit by a pitch. But 2 base runners here since we were able to resume it here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cameron looking for an out. And still with 2 outs. Majority of the runs scored by Hanceville here in the bottom of the 5th have come with 2 outs. As Taylor will sit in. Second time she's had in a bat with the bases loaded. Well, it's a beautiful Friday morning here at Veterans Park. Hopefully we will not have any weather complications moving forward in this tournament. Should be beautiful weather tomorrow at Veterans Park. A little bit of a chance of precipitation moving forward, as we're going to have a visit on the circle with Taylor Cameron. She was a starter in this game, was able to make it all the way to the 4th inning, and then was relieved from Emma Claire Wilson, number 17. Wilson came in, provided a couple outs, and then got in trouble in the bottom of the 5th inning before they called it. And since they are able to rest Taylor Cameron throughout the night, they decided to put her back on the circle and replace Emma Claire Wilson. We did see Braden Mitchell, who's the designated player in this game, and leading off, warming up prior to today's game as well. And for Jessie Taylor, she is number 20, since Hanceville is in their dark gray uniforms after being number 25 yesterday in the Lions' orange uniforms. Northwest Shoals is in their home uniforms, red and dark blue with dark blue pants and red socks. So both teams with different uniforms today for the conclusion of today's game. But bases loaded here for Jessie Taylor as it's a 2-0 count. And the 2-0 pitch. And that's for strike number 1. We started this thing off with Weaver on at second. She's now over at third with Bailey Rouse on at second. Haley Holyhand is on at first. Jessie Taylor trying to capitalize. And that one is going to miss upstairs. They check down the left field line. And she did not go. It's a 3-1 count. Nowhere to go here for Taylor Cameron. Trying to avoid giving up the 7th run of this game. 6-2 lead here for Hanceville. They're looking for their 6th run here in the bottom of the 5th. We'll see how aggressive Taylor will be. And she will fly one down the left field line, foul territory, and now running out of room is the left fielder Haven Steely. Just ran out of room down that left field line in foul territory, and that's a big strike number 2. The runners will be released on the next pitch, as it will be a full count here with the bases loaded with 2 outs. If Northwest Shoals wants any chance of coming back in this game, they've been down a couple of times in this tournament by 4 runs, been able to manage a comeback. That one misses, and it's going to be a ball, number 4. Home plate umpire signals for a walk, and it's 7-2. Base loaded walk. As that will bring down number 6, Brandy Phillips, after the bases loaded walk. It's Taylor Cameron with some frustration, wondering where that missed in the strike zone. But Phillips will step in, a walk, a strikeout, a ground out to third so far. Lions did not have a single hit until this 5th inning. They were hitless in the game, even though they had a lot of traffic on the base paths. That pitch will miss upstairs. And they've yet to have a hit this morning. Barry Rouse hit by a pitch. Haley Hoyan with a walk. Jesse Taylor with a walk as well. Wheeler came around the score on the base load walk. As Brandy Phillips sits in with a 1-0 count. And now miss upstairs 2-0. Cameron had, I believe, 8 walks last night before being relieved from Emma Claire Wilson in the 4th inning. And she's already issued 2 walks this morning. Zalkin at 4 strike. On deck is number 19, Tessa Word, who nodded up the game at 2 apiece. In the same bottom of the 5th inning, Lions have already batted through their entire batting order so far here in the bottom of the 5th. So that one will miss upstairs, and it's 3-1 once again. But after the conclusion of this game, we will have an elimination game between Bevel State and Bishop State. Winner in that game will keep their postseason dreams alive, while the loser will be sent packing. Zalkin at 4 strike, and it'll be another full count here to another Lions hitter. As Phillips looking for her first base hit. And Taylor Cameron just looking for the final out here in the bottom of the 5th. So we can send this game to the 6th inning with a 7-2 advantage for Wallace Hanceville at the moment. 3-2 pitch, runners will go. As Phillips pops this one up, foul territory over to the left side, and that'll be caught. And finally, the bottom of the 5th comes to its conclusion. As we head to the 6th, Hanceville able to score 6 runs in the bottom of the 5th. They have a 7-2 lead. Welcome back here for the top of the 6th inning. 7-2 lead for Wallace Hanceville. Katie Simon will remain on the circle after having a phenomenal pitching performance in her first game here at Veterans Park. With 9 strikeouts, just allowing 2 earned runs last night. Gave up all 3 hits that Northwest Shoals was able to get off of her in the 4th inning, where they were able to take a 2-0 lead. New catcher behind the plate for Wallace Hanceville will be number 11, McKinnon Howard, as the first pitch is going to be fouled off. Take a look back at the batting order for Northwest Shoals. They have Brandon Mitchell, Maddie Griffin, Brooklyn Owens to lead things off, Aspen Teed batting cleanup, followed by Kennedy Clark, Carly Wallace, Bethany Mink, Haven Steely, and Serenity Sisk. With Katie Simon back on the circle. Bunch of strikeouts last night. We're actually in 5 complete innings for her. Trying to get the final 6 outs of this one. Largest deficit for Northwest Shoals so far in this tournament through 2 games. 5 runs. They trailed by 4 runs twice against Shelton State, including the comeback in the top of the 7th to force extra innings. Well, leading off here for Northwest Shoals, it'll be Maddie Griffin, Brooklyn Owens, and Aspen Teed. Griffin with a double and a strikeout here in their second game on field number 2. Like I said, this is the only game currently going on at the moment. The rest of the fields will start back up at 11 o'clock for a couple elimination games and also some winners bracket games as well, as we'll start to see both in Division I and Division II teams start to be eliminated. As Griffin fouls this one off the fence. And it'll be a 3-2 count here to Griffith with Brooklyn Owens, number 21, on deck. Take a look at Hanceville out in the field. McKinnon Howard replaces Emily Hall behind the plate. Jesse Taylor, number 20, will be at first. Laura Lee Wheeler will be at second. Jaden Foster at short. Bailey Rouse will be at third base. As this one is going to be a line drive, and it's going to be foul down the left field line. In the outfield for Hanceville, Haley Holyhan will be in left, Brandy Phillips in center, and Caroline Carton will be in right field. As this will be a long at bat here for Maddie Griffin. Full count here in the top of the 6th. And as swung on and miss, another strikeout. 10 strikeouts in the game for Katie Simon. As she strikes out the first batter, she faces off here in the top of the 6th. As it brings up Brooklyn Owens 0 for 2 in the game. The only hits in the game for Northwest Shoals is Aspen Teed, who is now on deck. An RBI double from Carly Wallace and Maddie Griffin with a double that came in the 4th inning. Owens looking for her first one, as that one will miss downstairs. But 10 strikeouts for Katie Simon. And almost 6 complete innings of work. At the top of the hour, as we just saw Bishop State arrive at the ballpark. They'll be on field number 2 facing off against Bevel State, as it'll be the battle of number 5 and number 8 seeds in Division II softball. I believe that is the only Division II game that we have scheduled on field number 2 for the remainder of this tournament. And then we'll have just, I believe, 1 game tomorrow on field number 2. And then we'll start moving to 2 fields to find the champions of both Division I and Division II. Fouled off here from Owens. 3 RBIs yesterday in the win against Shelton State. Came on her last 3 at-bats of that game. As Northwest Shoals started very slow offensively against Shelton State and then started to pick up when they needed to. Came away with an impressive comeback victory to put them in the winner's bracket. So that one's going to be in for strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Katie Simon to open up the top of the 6th. But yesterday we started the game at 6 o'clock, or just past 6 o'clock, and were able to finish up almost 5 complete innings going into 8:30, I believe, was the end time before the weather started to roll in. Starting bright and early here at 9 o'clock. As Aspen Teague will bat here with the bases empty with 2 outs. The first pitch delivered for a strike. Aspen Teague with a strikeout and an RBI single. She was able to advance to second off an error. But hits are only 4-3. Not a lot of hits in this game. We've seen a lot of walks. Katie Simon has only issued 1 walk so far in almost 6 complete innings. The only walk was to Bethany Mink, and that was the first base runner for Northwest Shoals last night. So far, 2 strikeouts on 2 batters' face. And she's ahead in the count here, with 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Aspen Teague. It's only been 1 time so far in this game where Katie Simon was able to strike out all 3 batters she faces in an inning. That was in the first inning to Mitchell, Griffith, and Owens. As this one will be a fly ball to left field, and it's coming off the glove of the shortstop Jaden Foster, and the inning will continue off an E6. As Northwest Shoals will catch a break, second error issued to the lines in today's game. And I'll bring up number 15, Kennedy Clark. 2 strikeouts to Maggie Griffin, Brooklyn Owens. Aspen Teague reaches off an E6. As that was in and out of the glove of the shortstop Jaden Foster, unable to corral it. As that one will miss outside. Kennedy Clark with a pop out to the pitcher and a strikeout. Playing in center today. But the loser of this game will not be eliminated. They will just be put in the elimination bracket. Take a look at, I'd like to mention Bevel State and Bishop State playing later in Division II. And then we also have Coastal South, who lost last night 4-1 to Snead State. That game concluded about maybe 10 minutes before we came to the weather delay, as that one's popped up and that'll be caught for the third and final out here in the top of the 6th. Last chance for insurance runs for the Lions. 7-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th here on JockJive. (7-2) lead here for Wallace Hanceville. As the Lions, I believe, are going to send in a pinch hitter possibly. We have Tessa Word, Emily Hall, and Caroline Carton due up, but actually it's going to be Tessa Word, McKinnon Howard, and Caroline Carton due up. And looks like they're already going to issue a pinch hitter. Well, we had Tessa Word due up. She's a designated player, and she's the one about to step into the batter's box. So it should be at scheduled. Taylor Cameron back on the circle for the Patriots. Trying to get the final 3 outs before we go to the 7th. And the last chance for Northwest Shoals. After all the weather delays, beautiful weather here in Alabaster, Alabama. Hopefully that will continue as we go into the afternoon. Possibly could have rain showers later this afternoon, but hopefully we're able to get a couple of games in before we possibly have to have a rain delay. Everything, I believe, is on schedule for Division II. Just the game last night between Bevel State and Bishop State was supposed to be played last night. But due to the weather, they will play right after the conclusion of this Hanceville and Northwest Shoals game. So that one will miss upstairs, and it will be 2-1. Here to Tessa Word with 2 strikeouts. Did drive in the game-tying RBI single to left field. That came with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Lions would eventually score 5 more runs after that. All 6 of their runs, besides the first run of the game, was scored in the bottom of the 5th inning. Very talented Lions team offensively and defensively this season. Showing you why. Favorites to win the ACCC this year after winning it last year. Last year they had the North and South Division. That one will miss. This year you have Division I and Division II softball. Division II, we have Central Alabama, Marion Military, Bishop State, Wallace, Dothan, and Bevel State in the tournament this year, with a couple of teams from Florida joining the party. That will be a leadoff walk to start here for the Lions. We have St. John's River, Florida team coming into the tournament this year in Division II, South Florida State, and Lake Sumter State. Those are the 3 teams in Division II playing this year. Division I, it's all the teams that you've seen all season long. As we bring up McKinnon Howard. First pitch will be delivered in for a strike. She will be replacing Emily Hall behind the plate and batting 9th. Howard this season, sophomore outfielder / catcher. This will be at bat number 53 on the year with 3 RBIs, 13 base hits, and 3 doubles. She swings and misses and has a .250 batting average. But she'll grab a bat here for Emily Hall as it's an 0-2 count here. Runner on first with Tessa Word, who was able to reach off a walk. Still no base hits for either team this morning since we resumed play, as this is lifted to left field and out of play. But one elimination game that we'll have in Division I later will be the Coyotes from Coastal South. They'll face off against Shelton State, who lost yesterday to these same Patriots from Northwest Shoals. That one will miss upstairs, and it'll be 1-2. Below your screen, you see the Bishop State Wildcats heading to the batting cages and preparing for their must-win game against Bevel State coming up at 11 o'clock a.m. They will be in their road uniforms. They were all in all green yesterday in their loss against Central Alabama. Misses upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes here for Taylor Cameron. Struggling on the circle since coming in to replace Emma Claire Wilson. Has issued multiple walks so far in last night's game coming into this morning. And she finds strike 3, however, here to Howard for out number 1. Brings up the top of the batting order here with Caroline Carton. The last chance for the Patriots. In the top half of the 7th, they'll have Carly Wallace, Bethany Mink, and Haven Steely. Their last chance down by 5 at least. First pitch is going to be inside here to Caroline Carton. She's been hit by a pitch. It has a walk, a single, and popped out at second. I said this is the first game for Wallace Hanceville since they were the number 1 seed coming into this tournament. That'll be in for a strike. Northwest Shoals coming in as number 5 seed with a 10-14 conference record in Division 1. A 19-win season for Wallace Hanceville at 19-5, and also a 30-win season overall. That'll miss outside. It will be 2 balls and 1 strike here to Caroline Carton with number 9, Jaden Foster, on deck. These two teams met about 2 weeks before we enter postseason play. Hanceville won 3 of the 4 games against Northwest Shoals. Coming back off of Taylor Cameron, and that will result in an infield single here for Caroline Tartan. Runners at first and second. Just only the 5th hit for the Lions in this game, but they've scored 7 runs. Carton with back-to-back base hits on her last 2 plate appearances. And now Foster will come up to bat with 2 walks, a fly out to left field, and also reached off an E3. But first and second here, the Lions, already with a 5-run advantage, can put this game out of reach with just 1 swing of the bat. So that one will miss upstairs for ball 1. Laura Lee Wheeler is on deck, who had that bases clearing double before we entered the lightning and rain delay. It was a light show in the bat drop last night before they called the game. And then the rain followed about maybe 20 minutes after. Same weather that Oxford was dealing with, where they had to postpone multiple games as well. It'll be the Coastal South Coyotes versus Snead State Parsons to open up in Oxford this morning at 11 o'clock a.m. So we're about an hour and a half away from that. So that will miss downstairs. 3 balls and no strikes here. See how aggressive Foster will be. Lions already with 5 times in this game with the bases loaded. And that'll be a strike here. 3-1, third base open now for the Lions, but Taylor Cameron's got to find a way to get out of his jam here with Jane Foster. A walk, a strikeout, an infield single from Carton. And that'll be a pitch that will miss upstairs. Bases loaded once again here for the Lions. So it brings up Laura Lee Wheeler with a 4 RBI game so far. A bases clearing double, an RBI set fly, and 2 walks. She'll bat here with the bases loaded for the second time in this game, and second time with 1 out. Hit the RBI set fly to the left field. Caught at the track from Steely. First pitch delivered in for a strike. But this is number 6 in this game, where the bases have been loaded. 0-1 pitch. Sails outside. Wind picking up as well here on field number 2. Very cool morning. Inside for ball 2. 2-1 count here. Taylor Cameron hoping her defense can provide a double play, but trying to put the ball in play here. Is Laura Lee Wheeler with Baby Rouse on deck. Wheeler looking for some more RBIs, and she flies one to deep right field, and this one is gone. A grand slam from Laura Lee Wheeler, the leading home run hitter for the Lions all season long. She does it in the postseason and extends the lead 11-2. Here in the 6th, and I believe that should be gained due to the mercy rule as we update the score here. So finally, after multiple rain delays, we were able to finally have this game in the books. and concluded here 11-2 as we take a look at our breakdowns. The two teams will meet at the circle for their handshake. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for Northwest Shoals, while for Wallace Hanceville, 11 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. Started last night's game at 6 o'clock. We conclude at 9:30 this morning in 6 innings, as Wallace Hanceville will remain in the winner's bracket. Northwest Shoals will drop into the loser's bracket. They'll play later in this tournament. Bevel State and Bishop State due up here on field number 2, but for now I'm Dallas Renzi with the call. Laura Lee Wheeler with a grand slam to win it in the 6th inning, as Hanceville comes away with their first victory of the tournament. 11-2 over Northwest Shoals. We'll be back at 11 o'clock for Bevel State and Bishop State. I'm Dallas Renzi. We'll see you